Hey, yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back. On this episode, I've got Metallica, and he's sent in, for my clan Cartel, sent in a replay from Malinowka in the E75, and he's top tier in a 357. This is a great setup for him. It's already 2 down on each side. I dispensed with the preliminaries because it was the long slog for an E75 coming up the hill, which I think is the right move for him to begin with. There's 2 artillery on each side, so a relatively open map, and that is something to think about. But I wanted everyone to kind of, at this point, and they're up on the hill, to take a look at the deployment of the tanks and start thinking about what you would do here. So take a look at the mini-map. Let's go ahead and make it big so we can all take a quick look at that. Look at where the relative tanks are deployed and what the enemy tanks are, and consider that for just a minute. So we'll go ahead and play, and I'll come back to that in a second. The E75 and the 110 are up top. He's got 2 more heavies following up, and there is nobody home. So that obviously is part of what I'm talking about when you look at the map, the mini-map. Where's the E75, folks? Well, the enemy E75 is out of the game. So he has essentially taken himself out of most of the game. Unless he pushes down there aggressively and rolls up their base campers, their E75 is no factor. Oh, Mr. Low. Let me show you what he's doing. There's a shot on the Low who has inexplicably decided, inexplicably? That's not the word I'm looking for. Stupidly? Maybe that's it. It's inexplicable why he would do it. But he has decided, maybe it is the right word, to drive up the middle. Mr. Low, what are you doing? That is an awful decision. And he's paying for it with his life right there, or at least his Low's life, the tank itself. Incredible. Okay, there we go. Not really sure what old Metallica was looking at there. That was very bizarre. But he ends up killing off the Low, and they're down 3-3. 3-3, and they own the hill. They own the hill. And the question then becomes on this map, all right, what do we do with this? He's got a great big tank, not very stealthy. That was a very small rock, or a very small bush. Yes, that bush did make you look fat, Metallica, I'm afraid to say. I'm just trying to be honest with you that, yeah, that was not a big enough bush for you to wear. Not with that big kid. So we're going to move around and we're looking for shots. And what we don't want to do is drive right into them, because it is 4-4. And despite the fact that the enemy team's deployment was horrific, they are all stacked up in the bush down there. And if you come at them one at a time, or you're not very smart about it, they can machine gun you down. And the next thing you know, they're winning through a camping strat, which is pretty much the order of the day meta-wise in this game right now. This is a very typical thing you see from a lot of matches now, is just guys hiding in bushes, sitting in the back, and hoping somebody else spots or a tank drives in front of them. And unfortunately, Metallica takes a sniper shot from the Uds hanging down there. I probably would have worked those bushes a little bit more, man. A couple of these are bigger, or maybe even got down to where the Black Prince is. You can actually drive down this hill. There's a, it's hard to see, but there's a kind of cliff face here, but it is smooth enough that you can drive down and then tuck up underneath them right here. And with this dude, start spotting. However, this guy, the M12 and the M43, probably loom large in his mind. So that may have been, while aggressive, not the greatest move, because there were plenty of good enemy guns still in the game, and there are the 2 artillery. So even if he tucks up underneath them, starts getting proxy lights or pokes his turret up and gets lights, he's just going to get absolutely blasted by artillery. So he decides to come around a bit of a different way. P. Victoria is, I don't know what he's thinking, but looks like he's about to get hit. No, he gets covered up by the ridge just in time, but it doesn't matter because the WT eats his lunch. The WT, with his 36 hit points left, is able to get one more shot in there, and he's hanging out on that little sniper hill. His problem is trying to get up into the bushes and get shots without getting killed or artied. And I'd imagine the artillery is probably going to drop something on him relatively soon. Now we have Metallica moving up through the middle. Still a fairly even game. They're up by 1. He's moving on in here, and now he's getting into this flat area. Now this is really interesting, folks. I want you to watch what happens right here, because this is knowledge of the map, and it's something that you can learn. This very specific spot and situation is very good. He has not been spotted for a while, right? So watch what happens here. He's kind of goofing around on this edge. Maybe he can get a shot. Oh, wait a minute. I've been spotted. All right. So he knows he's been spotted. He knows about this map. He clicks right there, or at least the Scorpion G does. Oh, no, sorry. The E75 does. Metallica does. And watch what he does. He comes out and he says, hello, I think you're in there. Well, turns out he was. There's the down goes the 1357F because he was sitting in a bush. Now, what happened there? Most of you know, but I'm having a really hard time with this camera today. All right, there we go. When he backed out enough to get spotted, he knew that there had to be a scout in one of these bushes, and the most likely bush is this one right here. And he puts a shot right into the center of it, and down goes the 1357F, and that was a huge kill because that guy is going to spot everybody doing what he's trying to do right now, which is get a little bit closer and maybe tuck up under. I think I would have pushed up and over, but I think you might have taken a shot from the Uds, and you certainly got the attention of the M4043. And now we're pushing back in, see if we can get a shot. There's one, 478 into that guy, and now we're backing out. The enemy E75 has died. He attempted to, I don't know what over there, probably got artied to death and maybe sniped by the Scorpion. Scorpion's still sitting down at the bottom, as is the 3002. And really, this isn't a one game by any means. Metallica still has some work to do here. There's still a tier 9 medium trolling around the 430. There's still a Uds, which if he can stay hidden, can do some considerable damage. And a hold down T29 is no joke either. With some gold, we'll be able to put some shots into the E75. So he's kind of hanging out here, waiting for what's going on. Asking if the arty is reloaded, and everybody's ready. I don't know, man. I do that sometimes too. I think it's got mixed results. Sometimes people are watching, sometimes they aren't. There's the Uds. He gets that shot, and oh no! That was... Wow, that was scary for everyone involved, I think. Metallica survives that little skateboard maneuver. This is a dumb idea, but let's do it. Uds is still there. Yes, he is still there. Down goes the T29, so that was good. Now the T43 has moved up, and he knows the Uds is here in the bush. He'd really like to try to find him, and he's been spotted by the guy. Now he's backing out. Comes back down the hill. The 430 is at full hit points, so again, this is not a done deal by any means. So he's going to come around the bottom here. Come around the bottom edge of this hill and spot it again, so there's somebody probably up in those bushes going to take a shot into it. Nope, there we go. So I'm not sure if the Tiger P was going to take that shot anyway, or he saw the fact that Metallica was aiming at him and he decided to take that shot, but the end result is a trade of damage, but a dead gun. The Tiger P pulled out of the game, and that is a good thing. So now we've got Metallica. He's kind of messing around down here. This is an okay approach, but it sort of depends on where the enemy artillery is, and all of a sudden the 430 decides he's going to come down and end Metallica's game. So let's see how this goes for this guy. Went very, very poorly. Hit by several people in there. Might have been the Sioux and artillery, maybe the Scorpion, I don't know, but in any event, the 235 from Metallica ends a full hit point, or at least very nearly full hit point, Object 430. Now the big trick is, let's go find this Uds and the artillery. Maybe a little indecision on the case, on Metallica's case here, but he's going to go back around this way. Always painful driving around in the wet gunk like this. It really slows down the tanks. If you stay up on the edges a bit, that does help. We're going to move around the corner here. Up and out of the water just enough that he doesn't start drowning the engine. But the E75 is not very sprightly to begin with, so it does take a little while for him to drive around here. But you'll notice that he's not getting a whole bunch of help, right? The Sioux is hanging out. Now the Scorpion starts driving across the middle of the field, which I don't quite understand, but that's what he's doing. Had he actually moved up the hill and come over top on the T43, probably would have been over by now. And Metallica's trying to be very careful here. If he gets artied now, it's just going to be a two-shot arty, and he's pretty much done. Even if they splash, more than likely they'll take him out. He needs to find that Uds. That's where he thought he was, or where he was last seen anyway. But not being spotted, so no sixth sense going off. The guy must be further back. 3002 is moving up. This is a case where you got to watch what your friendly team is doing, because he might get some spots from the 3002 as well. 3002 is yelling help. I guess he's stuck himself into a bush there. Whether he was spotted or not, it's hard to tell. He might have been. And now Metallica is sort of driving through the open here, trying to end this game. Where on earth is the Utes? Quite surprised he wasn't spotted, so the Utes must be further back, really buried back in those bushes and trees back there. It's got pretty decent spotting. 3002 is still alive, that's good. He's only got 121 hit points though. Now they've got two guys in here, and the Scorpion has moved over to a sporting position on the cap. So between the three of them, with the Sioux supporting Ish from way back there, he's about to not have draw distance, so the Sioux's doing a not great job for them right now. Although he does have to worry about that T-43. And very strange, they weren't actually in the corner. Crawling up the hill. Where on earth are these guys? One of the nice things about what's going on here is the Scorpion G is on the cap, so he's sort of forcing these guys to make a decision. Down goes a Ute, so he just absolutely hammers them. 3002, there's the T-43, takes a shot. He's going to have a very hard time pinning an E75. That was a shot with a stun, but no damage. Very helpful. There's one of them. Down he goes. Does get to 3002, friend. The artillery should be close to a reload. There's the T-43, just hanging out in the open for some reason, or got caught moving and not really sure which. He seems to be just sitting there. 7 seconds. Is he going to get that last artillery? Doesn't look like it. Oh, there he is. Yes! So the artillery drops, what, 322 on him, leaves him 106 hit points, and is able to, even stunned, go ahead and fire in there even as they were winning. So a cap and a kill all at the same time. 8 kills, Radley Walters, 2,944 damage, 1,238 spotting. A very careful use of the E75 and doing a lot of his own spotting with, at the end, a pretty passive group of remaining players back there. Obviously the artillery sit back, that's what they do. But the rest of them not really doing a whole lot to help out Metallica. So even though I would say that the damage is relatively low for an 8-kill game, this is really a carry on his part. Nice job going to the initial critical terrain. They won it without a fight, really. A little bit of indecision figuring out what to do, and then kind of working his way around the map with good map knowledge, getting to the places where he needs to be, and just carefully and slowly picking off everything as he went. Nice job, man. I appreciate you sending in that replay. I hope everybody learned something and enjoyed themselves on that one. Hey, guys and gals, thanks for the support of the channel. We're starting to take off. I appreciate it, and we will see you.